and DeArmond, and this is the first episode of Creepy and Kinky, the weekly web show we're doing for the new website, girlfriendsfilms.com. And I'm here with two of our experts on Girlfriends Films, Elexis Monroe and Dan. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm super excited to be here hosting the show with you guys.
Good. Yeah, me too. This is something we've been working on. I've been personally working on. It's looking forward to it for months. It took us about 8 months to get the website rolling, a long time. Luckily, we partnered with really good people, abbywinters.com. So when you go to the website, it's basically Abby Winters who build it, and we supply the content and have some say in it. But yeah, Abby Winters did a great job of putting it all together. And this is the last time you'll see me on the show. Maybe not, I don't know. But we're going to have a little different format. Tell us about it.
We're going to force you to come back.
Okay.
And Abby Winters
do it.
is the AVN Best Website
of the year.
winner this year.
Yeah, best
2011
website
too.
in the world as far as for the AVN award this year.
So not a bad partner.
Yeah,
It's
so we've got a really good partner, and we're doing these shows. Lex is going to have a show on what's it called, The Vault, or we don't know what it's going to be clipped yet.
I like the vault.
I like the vault
We'll
too.
think of it and tell you later.
But tell us, what's that show about?
Well, we could do that show with upcoming clips from upcoming videos that we've shot or different things. I want to do stuff with like some BTS.
Mm-hmm.
Like stuff that you wouldn't normally see in the videos and on the website.
Because we do get
Special
into
stuff.
a little bit behind the scenes, funny
the-
business.
Yeah, behind the
us
scenes
girls.
can be interesting.
Some BTS gets really interesting. I mean, I ended up doing BTS recently where a girl had another orgasm during BTS. So,
Yeah, that was interesting.
yeah. I don't have that.
But no, so there'll be two shows. This is the Creepy and Kinky show, and this actually focuses on personalities. Well, next week we're going to try and get Melissa Monet in here. I'd like to get Maggie St. Michael in here after that.
Yes.
And before next week's show, what are you going to do with Melissa?
I'm going to do whatever she will let me do and whatever she wants to do to me, because I've known her for years and years, and I've always wanted to work with her, and I'm always begging you, Dan, please let me and Melissa Monet do it.
I'm going to let you. Next week
and
they're going to have a
make my
scene.
dreams come true.
So you guys are going to
That's
shoot
why I
a
love you.
scene next week. It'll probably be in a Women Seeking Women series. And that's going to be right before next week's show. So it'll be interesting. You can come in. Maybe we'll show some clips of the scene afterward. If we can get those processed in time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Alexis' show, it's going to be more like, what's coming up in the next week on our website, on our girlfriendsfilms.website, because the plan is that we'll release 7, every night we'll have a new release of the scene. We have 5 scenes that are going to be released each week, and then we have the Creepy and Kinky show, of course, that we're doing right now, and then the Alexis show, The Vault, which it may be called, I don't know. That will be on stuff we've just shot and the upcoming scenes and all sorts of stuff from out on
That's
on
a good
location.
updates.
That sounds like a very exciting website with lots of awesome content on it.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Every
Maybe
night
I should
there
join.
should be something new on the website.
I think the thing is too, like we do the newsletter once a month, and you can only cram so much into it. And there's so much other stuff that goes on. Like when we do trips away, like out of town or out of the country, I like to talk about it a little bit more. You can only talk about that so much on the newsletter, and show so much in the newsletter.
We're going to go back to Budapest.
And I'll go with you.
That would be crazy.
I like that out there.
I love it.
And I love beautiful Hungarian women too. So
Yeah.
Have you worked with any of them?
No,
How about
I haven't.
Anita Dark?
No.
Never? Okay.
I'm gonna make a wish list of all the girls I know who live in Europe that I want to bang, and then we'll go out there and I'll just
Yeah, run it by me, and I'll be like, she's really good. This is what she likes.
service
Yeah.
everybody
Dana always has the longest
All over.
wish list.
all over Europe.
Uh,
I do. I have long wish
yeah,
lists.
you want to.
For you, for the general public, for the world.
Yeah.
I'm just a hopeful person.
Yeah.
Call me an optimist.
So am I. You have
But
to
if you don't wish, then your wishes can't come true.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I learned that when I used to work at Disney World.
But no, that's one thing about Girlfriends Films. When you see when you watch our website and you see the movies, they're typically matches that we put together. Like you want to shoot with Melissa Monet, so we're going to do that next week. You asked to shoot with Melissa. She wanted to shoot with you. Alexis she always has a bunch of girls she wants to shoot with. So we go by wish list because, of course, that's the best way to partner up girls and get real sex.
It's been a while. Maybe we should re-up
Our scenes are great. People like them.
Yeah. We call her Do Anything Dana because she
Do anything, Dana.
I do it all.
she tends to do anything that
She does. I was saying that she is one of the only people that has ever rimmed my asshole during the scene. Pardon my language, everybody, but
the first dirty stuff on the Creepy and Kinky show right there.
Is this why you're having me on the show? Because I'm probably the creepy. Because when I do all the acting things, I really love reading the reviews of all the movies that I'm in, especially the girlfriend stuff, because people respond and they have very definite opinions and people, the reviews I get to read on the girlfriend's films especially are like, Dana is so crazy, and I just keep reading how crazy I am and how like mean and crazy I am, and I'm just like, wow, I feel like I've really come into my own as an actress because I'm not an insane person, guys, out there in TV land.
you just happen to get cast in those roles.
You know, but
and you have spunk. That's all.
I'm very happy that you write these things for me, and I take them as a challenge, and I play them up as creepy or as mean or as twisted as I can get it to come across on camera. And it's apparently very convincing because people like, someone should probably lock her up. And I'm cool, that's awesome.
I think the craziest part that I've ever written for you was the part in Lesbian Psychodramas 1, which we're opening, will be on our website, is going to be on our website for everybody to see. And you play, in that one, you play with Aiden Starr, you play like a pair of, I think, foster sisters.
Yeah, or something.
And you are so freaky in that. I just happened to watch some of that the other day, and I was just amazed.
Yeah, we really beat up on Ashlyn a lot. We beat
Ray,
down our door, and she was trying to push the wardrobe so we couldn't get into her room, and we're stealing her panties and snipping them, and we're both pretty much lithium babies in that.
Aiden is a firecracker.
Yeah, and she's one of my best friends. And so I really like it that I get to, do scenes with people that I really like, that we kind of are like-minded and kind of play off of each other's energy. And when I go to make a crazy move, she knows me well enough to know what I'm going to do. And so she'll do something equally as messed up. And we kind of feed off each other's energy, and it kind of can escalate more and more. I just love that kind of stuff. And I got to sniff Dia's panties in that movie, too.
That was a panty sniffing movie. And also, that was the movie that had probably one of our most famous lines ever in there at the very end of the movie.
I think I know exactly what it is already.
What was it?
Is it I Love You, Mommy?
Yes.
Exactly.
How did I know that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the very end of the movie. Ashlyn Ray is, I think she's a stepdaughter of Dia Zerva, and Dia tells her, I want you to... love me from now on. Can you tell me you love me? And Ashlyn says very sweetly, I love you, Mommy. And of course, that's
the box cover.
That is almost legend for,
yes.
I think, what all the little lines we've had in our movies.
But it's a good message, too. Even though we're psychotic, we love each other.
That's right.
Very,
I love
very
you, Mommy,
much.
as you lay in bed with with Mommy, and who's just had you tied up and undone you and had her way. Okay.
I mean, these things happen. These things happen in our world.
Yeah.
In the world that we've created.
In the world that we've created, I hope, and that we can keep it right there.
Yes.
Doesn't need to get to the outside world. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, we're going to be talking about lots of lesbian sex and
lesbian sex. What's that?
And we're going to talk with every week we'll have hopefully a different person interview, and we'll talk to them about their sexual secrets, like. When Maggie comes in, she's always had this fixation on big tits. I want to hear about that. And
I will ask her.
And Melissa Monet next week. She was a sex surrogate in real life.
I don't even know what that means.
That means she was. It's somebody who either works on their own or they work with a licensed therapist, and they take and they can have sex with the patient, or
Really?
they can do some other things in order to help this patient out. So it's
Ooh.
sort of like, I'm
Well,
sure everybody out there now wants to be a patient, get a sex therapy.
I have a PPO. I
I
wonder
bet
if
they
that's
get paid more
covered.
than we do. For the same thing.
I don't think.
I'm a therapist all of a sudden.
I can make you feel better.
If I get to bang Melissa Monet and have a $25 copay, I'm all for it.
Yeah, that would be the cheap way to get a little poon, wouldn't it?
Oh my gosh. Well, I cannot wait for any of that.
So, at any rate, we have to talk about some sex tonight. We're going to have sex on every show. It's going to be the predominant topic tonight. We just wanted to get everybody sort of filled in on what's happening. Actually, this show is done in one of our Girlfriends Films warehouses. There's another in back of us here behind this wall. There's a whole bunch of DVDs
Porn.
stored.
Lots of DVDs.
And we also have some of our costuming here for like the Pinup Girls series and the Girls in White series. We own all those costumes that you see in the series because we
Yeah.
know that, well, number one, if you spill something on a costume, it's worth about 20 times that you have to pay for it as what it costs the rental
Rentals.
house. And then
Yeah.
also we want to be able to go back and make those movies. We've got costumes for airline stewardesses. The Strays movie that is going to be coming out that Melissa directed. And we've got costumes for Girls in White and the Pinups. The Pinups, we have boxes
I
and
love
boxes.
that with the girdles and the high-waisted panties and the bullet bras and the garter belts and suspenders and stuff. I love that look.
Yeah.
It is classic.
Unfortunately, you have to be all natural with no tattoos. Thank you, Alexis. You've got a little tattoo
I'm
down
working
by
on
your-
having it
There's a
removed.
few.
And it is a long and painful process, but as soon as I get that sucker off, I am
we're
going to
go-
be in Pinup
That's
Girls.
We're
her
going to
first
reward you
shoot,
with a
Dan.
part in Pinup Girls.
Yay! I'm so excited. It's totally worth it. It's costing me a fortune to get rid of the damn thing, so I'm going to have to... You know.
I bet everybody her little tattoo is right atop the
Right,
family
my
jewels.
mom's pubis is
So there must be a
word for
fight
that.
to get among the male tattoo removal people.
It's
to
actually
get
all
you.
women that run my
Oh, they are.
tattoo removal
probably
office.
still a fight
and they're
among
all
them.
hot babe nurses.
And they all want to
And
take
they
the
all
tattoo
wear
off.
scrubs, and they're so hot, and like they're femme, but they're like kind of mean. I really like as much as it hurts.
You were turned on the whole time.
It,
weren't
it
you?
does, and I used to do a lot of submissive BDSM work where I used to get just whipped and spanked and tied up, strict bondage and stuff like that, which is probably why I'm here doing the Creepy and Kinky show. Duh. And so I kind of learned to get to a place where I very much eroticize pain, and so to have like this really hot blonde, like sun-kissed tan, pretty nurse, like kind of like wearing scrubs, which are kind of baggy and like shapeless, and I know underneath she's just like banging bod, like do this really painful laser treatment like right on my pussy basically, and she's sort of just going, oh, does that hurt? I'm sorry. Like, kind of like a dominatrix. That's the place where I have to go to get through these treatments because it hurts so bad. But I make it like a horny experience.
So given this is a medical situation, medical environment, do they actually, I know that thing is right atop your little yah-yah or whatever we call it. Did they actually cover that up so they can't see it or something? Or do they have you spread your legs
I
and the whole
try to
deal's
be
out there?
modest about it because they're aware that I'm in porn and everything like that. So I try to I don't think that they know the entire backstory of the kinky thoughts that I have in my head. So I try to be really modest and not show it. And then they're just like, oh, take this off. Like they're rubbing it with numbing cream and stuff like that. They're just whatever, because they're nurses. That's their
They're
job.
rubbing it with numbing cream.
Yeah, they have no idea that I'm I'm trying to be modest and sheepish and shy about it, but I'm secretly
You're trying to flaunt it for them.
hot nurse.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hide it from them so they'll want to see it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. In my head, I'm tricking them into wanting to see it.
I don't think Dana ever forgets about sex during the day. It's constantly on your mind, I bet.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I think about it all the time.
How old were you when you think you first had sexual awareness?
I was a very late bloomer myself, but when I started doing porn, I was already 24 years old. Like I had sex and sexual experiences and with men and women, and you know, but I didn't really understand it until I was around more kinky, like-minded people that were more comfortable talking about sex instead of just like, oh, like calling it hooking up or whatever. Like when people are more frankly speaking about sex is when things kind of clicked in my mind, because I used to do stuff like tie my legs up and stuff. Like I used to do self-bondage and stuff when I was really, really young. Super young. Like
how old?
Probably like 8.
8.
Like really
You're
young.
doing bondage on yourself at 8 years old.
Yeah.
Oh my
like,
God.
Like really just like and I was like taking my underwear and I was like giving myself camel toes and wedgies and making thongs out of my underwear when I was like, you know, probably 6 or 7.
Uh-huh.
And I was trying to get my girlfriends to do it with me, like my neighbor girls, and we're like all like giving ourselves camel toes and wedgies and being like, ooh, like we were really sexy or something, but we were like little, like, you know, we're just like
girls.
fooling around or whatever. Because like when you're rubbing on yourself, you don't know what masturbating is or whatever, but you just know like it feels good because you're like tugging on your underwear and it's like rubbing your pussy, but you don't know. Like, so I was just like fucking around all the time, and I didn't know like that I was a horny little kid.
Yeah. Were you that young when you started experimenting with sex? No, you were a little.
Unfortunately, no. I was a little older. At that time, I think I was still
Yeah,
playing with
did you
like,
have a
She-Ra
sex-
and He-Man.
I still played with dolls and stuff,
Yeah,
but
I
I was just
know.
like goofing.
I don't think
like,
I really
goofing
thought
around.
about it that much then. Once
Yeah.
I became like junior high is when I started to like.
But you must have had. How old were you when you had an awareness that you were interested in boys or girls or whatever you were interested in?
Oh, like
or
second or third grade.
second or third grade.
Well, yeah, I like you know
Yeah.
had a little tetherball boyfriend, and we like kissed, and like then it kind of went to girls after that.
I took Playboy magazine to school when I was in first grade. I was 6 years old, and I found a Playboy magazine of my uncle's, and I was like, these ladies are so sexy, and I was like so amazed by sexy grown-up ladies naked, and I thought that was the hottest thing ever, and I was like, I convinced myself that I wanted to grow up to be a sexy lady, and if that didn't work out, I wanted to be with a sexy lady. Like, no question in my mind. I was 6 years old, and I took this magazine to class, and I was like, have you guys seen this? This is what naked ladies look like. I was like, wow, look, that's awesome. And I got in trouble, and I got a note
I was gonna
sent
say
home.
if you did that nowadays, holy.
I got a note sent home, and I put it underneath my dresser. I didn't give it to my parents.
Oh my gosh.
I'm such a bad kid. I don't care.
They never knew about the note.
No,
And you didn't have to have it signed or something.
I think they
taken
found
back.
it when we moved or
Oh, boy.
something.
Hopefully you're 19 by then.
No, they were just like, what is this? I'm like, you know, whoops.
Ah.
Oh, I guess I messed up or whatever, you know. My parents are very liberal people, and they understand, you know, okay, you're a little kid, you saw a naked lady in a magazine, it was probably like, wow. You know, it's not like they're gonna be assholes about it and tell me that there's something wrong with that. And I think it formed me to be a pretty well-rounded
Break out the
individual.
Bible and
Did you
stuff.
grow up in a Bible Belt type community or a very liberal or?
I grew up in Orlando, Florida, and
That's fairly Bible Belt, isn't it, Orlando?
It's southern, but you know, there's a little bit of entertainment industry there. You kind of want to keep a low profile, but you kind of go with whatever people are doing. Like, you know, just do Christmas when it's Christmas time, or do Easter when it's Easter. You know, like you don't want to be like too Jewish or too gay or too black or anything when you
Too Cuban.
yeah. Or when you live in the South, it's just like you kind of just try to chill. Because I have a gay dad, and like he wasn't out until like much later in life, and so being raised by people that are already, you know, involved in subcultural type of things, it's a little bit different when you're like your household is run by someone who's very macho and expects, you know, very like, oh, we got to keep up with the Joneses or whatever. We were just sort of like liberal, like low profile, like, oh, we don't want to make too much noise so our neighbors fuck with us type of a thing. And so I could be as gay as I wanted.
Yeah. Now, you said you were, 24 when you got into the adult business?
Yes.
Did you come out to California specifically for that? Did you come out before that? Or?
I came out to California. I was running from the law at the time.
Why am I not surprised?
I'm a bad girl.
Yeah.
I got in some trouble with the law. Not a lie at all. That totally happened. And I was like, I'm just gonna skip town. And I ended up in California.
So then how did you get into the adult business once you got here?
I-
Did you ever think about it before you actually were approached to get into it, or however you got into it?
Well, okay, it was like all like self-interest type of things. Like when I was growing up, I was a figure skater. I was a roller skater in Florida. So yeah. Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Oh, cool.
And from there, I was a dancer out at theme parks in Orlando at Disney and Universal Studios.
So you were in a
danced
club
there.
dancer. You were a
Well, after
entertainment
I
company.
turned 18, I kind of transitioned. There was a lot of women that worked in the theme parks that, moonlighted as strippers at night and stuff. And so, I was like, I got a pretty rockin' bod and I don't care. Like, you're almost naked anyway when you're dancing at Disney. They give you the skimpiest outfits.
Little
ever and
leotards
stuff.
that are
And-
practically see-through.
Yeah, and figure skating too. It's like, I'm pretty comfortable with my body. And to work in a topless club or a place where you have to wear stickers on your boobs or whatever, it's like, it was nothing to me at all. Like, I hadn't like developed any weird body image issues like that. Like people shouldn't see me or whatever. I was like, if it's entertainment, I felt like if I'm entertaining someone and I can make money doing it, it's something that I'm comfortable with. And I had gone to my parents and I had told them, like, I'm planning on going to the strip club. It's the classiest strip club in town. Kind of prefaced it. Like, I had this whole, like, speech planned out where I was like, you don't do lap dances. You dance on top of a table in front of the guy, and then he gives you all this money and blah, blah, blah. And I don't have to drive all the way across town to Disney. And so I had this whole, like, presentation to tell my parents why I felt it was okay. And the reasons that I
how
felt
old
I
were you?
wanted to do
18
it.
at that time?
I think that yeah, I was around there. Yeah.
So
18,
did they
19.
buy off on it?
Yeah, they were just like, get a job. That's cool. Whatever. Like, don't get in trouble. I got like when I got a DUI was the thing that I got in trouble with the law with, and that was when I was working actually still at Universal because I was going back and forth to the strip club and working seasonally in the theme parks because I would do like Mardi Gras, Halloween and stuff because it was so much fun. And you get free tickets and you can ride roller coasters and it's really cool. And
Wow.
So I was
What else
kind of
could you
like,
want?
yeah, it was kind of like double life for a little bit, but that's when I ended up. It wasn't when I was actually working in a bar. It was when I was working at Universal Studios, drinking with my friends. At
So
Universal
then you
Studios.
came out running from the law to California, and how did you then get into the adult business once you got here?
Well, I continued stripping when I moved out here to California, and at a certain point, my life was just completely unmanageable, and I had to quit drinking, and because the whole DUI thing really like kind of caught up with me. I didn't have a driver's license or a car or anything like that, and I was completely dependent on other people, and it sucked. And I quit drinking, and I got fired from the titty bar because I quit drinking, and I was like, how, like, I'm amazing. Who gets fired from a titty bar? I just accomplished the impossible. And so I kind of took that as a cue, like, from the universe. I'm like one of those hippy dippy, like, oh, the universe will tell me what to do with my life, and I just fucking skate through whatever, and, I'll be taken care of. And it's actually worked out pretty well for me. And I had seen these fucking machines on the internet and on HBO, and I was obsessed with the idea of having sex with a robot because I've had sex with ladies and I've had sex with men, and that was fine, but I'd never had sex with a robot before. And this is again why I'm on the Creepy and Kinky show, just in case you forgot what you were watching. And I applied, and I was immediately hired to do that, and then that's how I got into doing all like the bondage stuff and the fucking robots and like dominatrix type of stuff, and yeah. And that's my story of how I got into doing porn.
Yeah. Are you really kinky in your private life, or do you like, or is the adult business enough of an outlet for you?
I mean, I can be, but a lot of the things that you do on camera, as far as like really heavy BDSM and all that kind of, and like elaborate role playing and costuming and stuff, I find to be fairly impractical for like a one-on-one sexual situation with somebody. And I do get a lot. I get a lot. It's very cathartic for me to do porn because I get to act out all these fantasies and really elaborate, like like the stuff that I do at Girlfriends films. Like, I've played an invalid. I fucked my stepmother. I force stepdaughters and stepmothers to fuck each other for my amusement. Like, that's not something that I could orchestrate alone in my home. Like,
but who wouldn't want to do it?
Well, I mean, good point. Very good point.
Fantasies come true.
But I really like the fact that it's documented and available for other people to see, because it's actually very fascinating. I wouldn't want to just be like, oh, this is my thing that no one can see, because it's such a production that I think it should be. Maybe I'm just an exhibitionist. I think people should see
one thing I've noticed about you and that we really like is that you talk during the scene, you talk to your partner a lot, and we like girls to do that, but you can't force them to do that. I think most of us are very quiet when it comes to having sex with our partner. I would say maybe 5% of the girls really talk to their partners a lot. 10%. I don't think anybody talks to their partner quite as much as you do during the scene. We're not talking about.
The thing is, like, the question that I get more than anything is, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I know about what people like? Do you get this too? All the time. I'm like, ask them. Tell them what you want. You know, like, it's pretty cut and dry. Like, if people are like, how do I get my girlfriend to let me stick things in her butt? I'm like, have you asked her? Or have you, had a discussion about it? And I think that people are like a little bit too, in their own headspace to like really figure out that,
Yeah, but I think you seem to have a little bit of a dominant, submissive conversation with your partners during the shoot, where you're going to tell them you're going to do something. It's usually you dominating some girl.
Yeah. I've really come full spectrum from that, because when I started out in the porn business, I didn't want to talk at all, and I did a lot of submissive work, and I wanted to just be gagged the entire scene. I didn't want to be asked questions. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I just wanted to be just used and abused and hung up wet. Like, that was just my thing, and I did that for so long that I just, I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, I've experienced that, but now once you have a taste of something, you kind of want more and more and more. And now that I've done submissive work for so long, I just dom now, because it's just, I trust myself to not hurt somebody or not do anything reckless with people. And I can say that I can do something really fucked up to someone and say, well, I've done this myself. I've had this done to me. I know what it feels like, and be sympathetic towards people. And I think that
makes a good dom.
They're more willing to be open to things if you say, I've done this 10 times, I've done this 1,000,000 times or whatever, and you can go back and you can show them the video of it and be like, look, like, I was coming so hard when I was doing that, this is gonna be fun or whatever.
Yeah. Do you have real orgasms when you're on set?
Yes, absolutely. And that's also really interesting, because people a lot of times will say, do you get tired of having sex, or do you get bored of having sex all the time? And I'm just like, are you from this planet? Honestly, like, who doesn't want to have sex like all the time? Like, people, I mean, I guess they have different like libidos or whatever, but it's like, oh, I think I've had enough sex for my lifetime. I think, I couldn't possibly anymore. Thank you. No, thank you. Just, it's an insane thought. And the more that you have sex and the more you experience, it's accumulates in your human experience, and you know more about what you like, and it makes you a better lover, I think.
Yeah. What about you? Do you have, Alexis?
I have no sex pretty much off camera. I think
how about your
everybody knows that
orgasms
now.
on camera, though?
My orgasms are pretty intense. That's the only sex I have. I actually don't even like to masturbate. I've actually pretty much
You're a saver.
Yes. I really want to have a real orgasm. I
sensitive.
I really don't like, I won't even finish a scene unless I have an orgasm.
So,
I
so
can't. I just can't.
when you say you don't masturbate, you mean you're saving yourself
I
for the
do
scenes?
very rarely, yes.
That's
You know
so
what it is? I
romantic.
just, honestly, I would rather do it with someone else.
Yeah.
I mean, I do it sometimes, but like, what's the point? I'd like to share. Like,
So I've heard of women saving themselves
just
for their
don't-
husband or something like that.
No.
That. I'm saving myself for my partner.
I just like it better that way.
You're saving yourself for
And
Dana
my
next.
orgasms are 100% real on camera, 100%,
too.
and I think people can tell that. So
Yeah, does it take? It must
can.
take. I've never been on camera in that sort of position. It must take the first times you do that. It must I would doubt you could have orgasms because it must be so conscientious of the cameras in the room or what you're doing, and it must be totally freaky those first times.
I think you have to really do like a little bit of a self-hypnosis on yourself. When I came into the business, I really was like looking around, noticing my environment, and saying to myself, this happens here all the time, and like feeling the energy of the space, and looking at the people around me and saying, these people do this for a living, and I don't have anything that they haven't seen before, and this experience is my own. And
I think that's what you have to do though now.
you can't really let yourself doubt in your mind what you're doing, because I feel like you probably wouldn't be that great of a performer. You know what I mean? Or like sexually, you know? Because there's people that are in the porn business and they are just performing only, and they're putting on a show or something like that. And I do not really like working with people like that.
Yeah, that's what we try to avoid.
Yeah. And so that's why I like to, I come in and I feel the energy in the room, and I get my hands on someone like Alexis, and then we just tear each other apart. We start wrestling and stuff like that, you know? And you just have to let everything, the environment and everything that, you know, is smoke and mirrors and cameras and stuff like that, you just put up that fourth wall. And that's why it makes it convincing to the viewer.
Yeah. Is it easier, probably for somebody like yourself, you're probably just as comfortable on a set where they have a lot of people on set. We keep just 3 people on set,
Yeah.
Myself, Candy Girl, and Sabrina. And it's basically we do that for a reason, and that's to make the girls as comfortable as possible. We like to be the flies on the wall. That way we don't interrupt the scenes, as you know. So
There could be like 50 people around,
and you wouldn't care.
It wouldn't really make a difference to me.
How about you? How do you feel about that?
I necessarily don't mind. I just don't want to look over and see someone making it or something. I mean, if it's a chick, it's different. Girls, I don't really care. But the very few scenes I did that were boy girl, it just no thanks.
No.
That's just, I don't want to hear that. Yeah, no. Girls are fine. Girls, I don't care. So it's just.
But I'm a bit of an exhibitionist too.
I don't like the homeowners just sitting there
Yeah, that kind of breaks up my mojo.
But otherwise, I don't. Because there's people that have asked me that have been there, and I know they're there with someone, or I can tell they're curious, or they come in to do something. I'm like, if you want to watch, that's fine, and they're polite about it, but they're not right behind the camera,
I don't know. I like it. Because you know why? Because I think that I'm going to blow their fucking mind every time when there's somebody that's not necessarily in the business and they somehow end up on set, or they're, you know, a new person or a new PA or something on a set with more people on it. I'm I'm going to scare the shit out of that guy. I'm going to make him be like, what the fuck is that girl's problem? She is a beast. You know, because I just find it entertaining to sometimes be shocking to people.
I know we have our girlfriendsfilms.com forum, and I get a lot of personal messages as well as emails from fans, and many of them say that they can learn from the videos, that they've learned from our videos and so on. Do you get that much where you get emails? And
Yes, actually, I market myself as the internet's girlfriend, and I have this big following on all the social networking sites and MySpace and Facebook and Twitter and all this stuff, and I have my blog at theinternetsgirlfriend.com. And I get a lot of feedback from a lot of women and a lot of male to female transsexuals actually too, which is so amazing and so mind-blowing to me.
Male to female transsexuals.
Yeah, trannies. And
what do they
they're living as women, and they say that they watch my films and it makes them feel more comfortable as a woman, like seeing me do like the stuff that I do, that it's really super nasty and it's this crazy shit that comes out of my mouth. They're like, wow, like it's kind of liberating to see somebody just be like, you know, fucking whatever and just going for it. And I have lots of female and transsexual fans that will write me specifically and tell me, you know, I feel so much more comfortable in my sexuality and being a woman and being into the same kinds of things that you're into because you're the girl next door. And the girl next door wants to talk dirty and play out fucked up kinky scenarios and stick things in her butt and like
I think that's why people get shocked when I do things like that because they just don't expect it and I don't do it
or like
that much.
put,
so they're
put girls'
they're
feet in my mouth and like
well, we hear the same thing. You know, I think people are I think people might think that, well, you think you're abnormal, but I think the more I've gotten into this business, I say, my God, I'm like the most normal person in the world. I'm looking at what she does or she does, and it's wild out there. But I think there are a lot. I've heard from a lot of couples or guys and women who want their partner to sometimes a girl-girl relationship. We have a lot of those couples watching, but they want their significant other, their sexual partner, to see what other people are doing. I was in a relationship, long-term relationship, a couple of years with a girl. She was basically a missionary girl. She liked two positions, but people need some variety. That's where actually the adult porn comes in too. You know, it's like people need variety in their lives, and I don't know if you can go, 30 years of marriage and just be doing missionary all the time. So I think it's good for people to get out and experiment a little bit, right?
I can't do that. I mean,
Okay.
I'll just keep making porn to the day.
Anyway, I think we're just about
at the end
coming
of our
up with
first
time.
show?
So, but thanks everybody. This is great being on our first show. And so, what's next week again? Melissa Monet.
Melissa Monet.
And you're going to do a scene before that.
And she's going to tell us all the dirty details.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have an update with Melissa Monet.
And if people would like to, we're always into people's suggestions. And if you just want to write to shows@girlfriendsfilms.com, that's both plural, girlfriendsfilms.com. That's shows@girlfriendsfilms.com. Ask for people you'd like to see on the shows, or people, girls you'd like to have a shoot, couplings,
Anything.
activities. A lot of people, it's amazing how many people like trib and kissing and so on. Yeah, scenarios.
I'll probably definitely talk about tribbing in the future. I have people can email me anytime. I always like the fans to email me or on the forum. A lot of people are always on the forum and they give really good feedback on the forum. Yeah,
the forum is www.girlfriendsfilms.com, and just go to the forum there. We've got I don't know how many. I think we're getting right now. I think we're growing by about 150 posts a day or something like that. But there's people. There's a whole thread about DeArmond. There are threads about Elexis and this and that. People ask for activities or girls or couplings or
there's pretty much topics about everything and threads about everything on there.
Yeah, movie reviews. You can see what movies are good. So. We're brand new at this web business. Of course, we're partnered with the biggest name in adult web, but we're always interested in suggestions and movies you want to see. So just let us know.
Yes, please.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
So these two girls, we'll see you later on.
Next week.